Hello, good morning friends. Welcome back to your favorite channel Cloudwatch. Today in this tutorial we are going to cover AWS Serverless Lambda function setup step by step, and we'll be triggering it using Simple SQS Service Queue. Right friends? So we'll understand how to integrate Simple Queue Service SQS service with Lambda, how to make sure that Lambda is triggered, Lambda is processing the events, and after processing, we'll be putting that event into a destination queue. So we'll see all of this in the coming slide. If you want to learn AWS Lambda, if you want to learn AWS serverless architecture, if you want to learn simple queue service, if you want to learn how to set up trigger for AWS Lambda, so this is a tutorial for you. In this tutorial, we will also set up Simple Queue Service step by step. I'll show you how to add policy to access Simple Queue Service. I'll show you how can you add and update policy to SQS service, right? So stay tuned and watch this tutorial till end. Okay friends, so here is the agenda. We are going to cover the architecture for this demo. What are we trying to achieve? I'll just explain you quickly with a simple diagram. Then we'll understand what is Lambda function. If you're new to Lambda terminology, what is serverless architecture, we understand what is Lambda function and what is serverless services. Then I'll show you how to write a Lambda function, how to code for a Lambda function, then how to deploy it in AWS. I'll show you how to set up a simple queue service, SQS service, how to set up SQS policy to grant access to our Lambda function to read and write into SQS queue. This is very important. Finally, we'll do a Lambda configuration to set up trigger. After all this configuration and setup, we'll be testing our Lambda trigger and Lambda processing using SQS messages. So stay tuned and watch this tutorial. It is going to be very informative tutorial where you will be learning AWS Lambda from the scratch, feature of the Lambda serverless service and the SQS service. Right friends? Okay friends, so here is the architecture of this tutorial today. As you can see, I have two queues, source and destination queue, and I have a Lambda function in between. So in the source queue, we'll be putting a message. It will trigger my Lambda. As soon as the message is available in the source queue, it will trigger my Lambda function. Lambda function will execute. It will process the event, and then it will put that event into a destination queue. This is just a demo. You may have a requirement where the message is coming from a source queue, but destination can be any other AWS service, right? You want to set up some alert or you want to trigger any other AWS service like event bridge or event bus and so on, right? Based on your requirement. But in this demo, Lambda read message from a source queue, process it, and then put it into a destination queue. I hope the purpose is clear. This kind of setup would be required in e-commerce where it will trigger a Lambda will process and create an email for customer and put that email template into a destination queue for email server. There may be hundreds of use cases like this where we can work with Lambda and queues. Okay friends, so what is AWS Lambda? AWS Lambda is a serverless compute service that allows you to run code without provisioning or managing servers. It executes your code in response to event such as change to data in S3 bucket or a message in SQS queue or update to a DynamoDB, etc. Lambda handles the underlying infrastructure, including provisioning, scaling, and maintaining, that is enabling you to focus on your application logic. Some of the key feature of Lambda functions are serverless computing, means you don't need to manage servers or infrastructure. Lambdas are event driven. Lambda functions are triggered by event, making them well suited for tasks like data processing, real-time streaming, and other event driven applications. Pay as you go advantage. You only pay for the compute time for your function use with no charges when the function are not running. Lambda automatically scales up and scale down based on the demand, handling the spikes in traffic without manual intervention. And wide range of language support. You can write your Lambda function in the language like Node.js, Python, Go, Java, and many more languages. So Lambda is a key serverless service in AWS and it is used extensively for event-based processing. Right, friends? I hope you understood the context of Lambda function and serverless computing, serverless services. Okay, friends. So now I have logged in into my AWS console. I'll show you how to set up serverless Lambda function in AWS Cloud. As we have seen in the architecture diagram, we have two queues. One is source queue and one is destination queue. So Lambda function will be reading the events from source queue and process it and then send that event to a destination queue. If you have logged in into your AWS console, you will see a dashboard and then you may see a Lambda service available here. If not, you can search the Lambda function here. Click on the Lambda. It will take you to the Lambda page. This is your Lambda function dashboard. On the left hand side menu, you can see a functions. Click on the function. This is the page where all the Lambda functions are listed. We'll be creating a new Lambda function for this demo. On the right top corner, you can see there's a button to create a function. Click on that button. Provide a basic information. That is AWS Trigger demo. Okay. I'm taking a runtime as Node.js 22. This is the latest one. Architecture, I'm not changing. Let it be as is. As this is going to be serverless service, open this, change default execution role. So it is going to create a new role with the basic Lambda permissions. If you already have any role, use existing role. If not, let it create a basic role. It will have permissions to create log, write into log. Additional configuration, I'm not going to change anything into additional configuration. I'm keeping as is. And then just click on the create function button at the bottom of the page. So it is creating a function for me. It will take some time to create that function. Yes. So as you can see, the function is created and this is the function dashboard. If you can see, I have the Lambda code, Lambda function code here, then testing tab to test my Lambda, monitoring tab to monitor my Lambda, and the configuration and so on, right? The very first thing that we have to do is to provide a code. Here it is provided a default code, JavaScript code for the Lambda, and always starts with constant handler async event, right? This is the starting point of your Lambda always. But this Lambda is returning a response, hello from Lambda and so on, right? We want to add some more logic there. I have a code. So this is a very basic Lambda function, what I have written as it is starting with this line. Lambda event, and I have imported few libraries like SQS client because I want to read events. I want to read messages from the SQS queue, hence SQS client, send message command, delete message command, and so on from AWS SDK. Okay, so this is the library. Now I'm defining a source and destination queue. What is my source queue? What will be my destination queue? We'll update it as we create it. So right now these are the dummy queue. Then I'm initializing an object of SQS, that is new SQS client, by providing a region, US East 1, right? SQS object is created. Now, this is the event that we are receiving it here in handler if you see. So this is the message which is coming, which will come from the SQS queue. So that I'm logging it here, console.log event. And then I'm iterating on that event.records because it is going to have a this event will have may have one record or multiple records. So hence I'm going to iterate it. Now for every record I'm doing this because it is in a for loop. I'm passing that record dot body so that I will have a message body, actual message body. I'll be sending this record to another queue. This send message will be sending a record to a destination queue and then delete from the source queue. So as you see, I'm passing that record and destination queue URL because it is sending on destination queue and deleting it from the source queue. So let's come to the send queue function here. On receiving a record and destination queue URL, I am preparing a send command, send message command, which will have a queue URL, that is destination queue URL, message body, that is record.body, and message attribute is a record.message attribute. So this command is created, and finally I'm calling sqs.send method. This is a function, this is a method provided by library AWS SDK library sqs.send, and then I'm just passing that command here. So this command and the send function knows where this message, the record body should go, because it is having all the parameters like queue URL and message attributes and so on. Once this is successful, I'm logging that message sent to SQS, this destination queue. If there is any error, so error will be logged. Very simple. Once this function returns here, send message, then I'm deleting it from the source queue. So let's come to the delete function here. The record and source queue URL is passed here. Then I'm creating a delete command here, new delete command with the queue URL, that is a source queue URL, and record dot receipt handle. So record will have a receipt handle that I'm passing it here in a delete command. Once the delete command is created, then I'm calling sqs.send again with the delete command. So delete command is to delete the message. Once this is done, then we are logging it and we are done. We will be returning from here. If there is any error, we will log the error. So I'll take this code, copy this and paste it here. Yeah, so I have pasted the code here. If you can see here, I have pasted the code. But what we'll do is we'll come back and update this URL of my source and destination queue URL later. Okay, you have to do a deploy. Let's deploy this first so that the code will come into action. Yeah, so it is deployed. Now, very first thing what we'll do is we'll create this source and destination queue. Let me show you how to create this source and destination queue. We also have to create certain policies to allow our Lambda function to read message from a queue. So that also I'll show you. Okay, friends? Friends, before we proceed in this video, I request you to subscribe this channel to grow Code One Digest family. Friends, I am creating a lot of quality videos on programming, coding concepts, design pattern and design principles, cloud and container technologies, but I'm not getting subscribers. I request you to like, share and subscribe this channel so that I can grow our Code One Digest family. Thank you. Okay friends, so now it's time for us to create our SQS queues. I have opened a new tab and you can go to our AWS dashboard where you can see a simple queue service listed. If not, you can search for SQS here. It will show you simple queue service. Click on that. It will take you to SQS dashboard. Now, very first thing what I have to do is create a queue. There is a button in top right corner. Click on that button and first thing it will ask you what is the type of the queue you want to create, that is standard or FIFO. We'll go with the standard as this is a demo, but based on your requirement you can select the standard or FIFO queue. Source queue, right? I'm aiming that COD Lambda Trigger source queue, and I'm not touching other configuration like visibility timeout, delivery delay. If you want to add any delay in delivering of the message by the time it arrives in the queue and by the time it is available for consume. So all that configuration I'm keeping default. Retention period is 4 days. If you want, when you're going for production, you can increase it to 10 days, 15 days as well. The message will retain in the queue. If not consume, it will be retained in the queue for that many days. Encryption, let it be enabled by default. I'm not touching it. And this is an encryption algorithm. That's fine. This is a basic policy. We'll change this policy later because right now this policy doesn't allow my Lambda to read a message from this queue. We will change this policy after this. Okay. Once we create this queue. So I'm keeping all the configuration as is by default and then come to the bottom of the page and click on create button. So as you can see, COD Lambda Trigger source queue is created. Same way, we'll create another queue as our destination queue. So click on create queue button, COD, and click on create queue. Okay. So these two queues are created, COD Lambda destination queue, COD Lambda trigger source queue. Now what we have to do is we have to update the policy so that our Lambda can use this queue as the source and destination. So before that, let me show you the policy that I have created. So here is the policy that I have created where I have version of the policy. This is the ID of the policy, a statement. A statement is important here. This is my statement ID. Effect, allow, I'm allowing. To whom I'm allowing? I'm allowing everybody in AWS, all the resources in AWS. This is not a right practice, but this is just for demo so that I'm not stuck in the demo anywhere. You can give the reference ARN of a specific resource like the ARN of our Lambda or any other service here. But right now I'm giving star, and action I'm saying SQS star. That means this resource should be able to allow any action like SQS send, SQS update, SQS delete, or any action can be performed by this principal on this resource. And this is the ARN of my resource. So what we have to do is, let me go to my source queue, copy this ARN, update this ARN. Now copy this policy. On the source queue, go to queue policy tab, click on edit. So just replace this policy. Rest of the thing is the same. Just come down and save this. Yeah, so policy is updated. You can review it. You are allowing all the principals and allowing all actions on this source queue. Now same thing we'll do for destination queue as well. Go to destination queue, because in destination queue we want permission to write it. So hence copy this ARN first. I'll update the ARN in my policy here. I'll copy this policy now. I'll go here, click edit. This is my COD Lambda destination queue. Come down, replace this with this policy where I'm allowing everybody in AWS to perform all action on this destination queue, right? This is my destination queue. Come down and just say save. So policy update is done. Okay. Once policy update is done, now it's time for us to set up a trigger for our AWS Lambda. Okay, friends. Now let's go and set up the trigger for our AWS Lambda. Okay, friends. And now it's time for us to set up a trigger. So this is the code that we have provided and we have deployed it. Now let me go to configuration. This is a configuration. We have to set up a trigger for this Lambda. You see on the left hand side, you have multiple options, general configuration, then trigger, and so on. Click on the trigger and then it will ask you to add trigger. Click on add trigger button. Okay, type SQS. Okay, SQS selected. Now it will ask you to select a queue that you want to make it a source. Select this source queue, right? Activate the trigger. If you want, you can enable metric, but as this is a demo, I'm disabling it. Otherwise, you can enable it for monitoring purpose. And I'll say batch of 1 so that we are not waiting for 10 events to come for Lambda to process. Okay. Otherwise, it will wait for 10 events to be available in the queue to process. I'm just saying a batch of 1 so that we can test it, right? I'm saying batch of 1 and rest of the configuration I'm keeping same. There is nothing in additional setting. Say add. So trigger is added. As you can see, this is my Lambda and SQS is added as a trigger. So this is a trigger. So as soon as a event comes here in this queue, okay, it will execute, it will trigger my Lambda. But before that, we have to update the URL in the code. Okay, go to the code and here we have to update this URL of our SQS queue. So this is my destination queue. Copy this URL and update this my destination URL first. Okay, this is my destination URL, COD Lambda destination queue. This is destination queue. Now go to source queue, copy the URL and update it in the code, right? So I updated this. So my source and destination queue is updated and rest of the code looks fine and just say deploy. It is deploying it, updating the function. So this is now ready to execute. And now what we'll do is we'll test this flow from source queue to Lambda to destination queue by sending events. Okay, let me show you the event that I'm going to send. Okay. Okay, friends. So here is the message that I'm going to send to the queue and Lambda will process it. If you see, this is a JSON message and it has certain metadata information like content type and just a dummy payload here. You can create your own message or you can define your own message. This is just my test dummy message. Okay, friends. And now we are going to test it end-to-end flow from our source queue to Lambda to a destination queue. We'll validate if I'm able to send this message from a source queue. As soon as I put this message in the source queue, it should trigger my Lambda function. Lambda function should process it. It should send the message to destination queue and it will delete the message from the source queue. Okay, so this is the validation that we are going to do now. I'll put this message in a source queue. As soon as I'll put in a source queue, it will trigger the Lambda function. Lambda will process it. It will send this message to destination queue and then it will delete the message from the source queue. So this is a validation that we are going to do. Copy this message, the whole JSON, come to our source queue. This is my source queue, right? And there is a option here, send and receive message. Click on that button in the top right corner, send and receive messages. Here on this page, you will see a text box, message body, where you have to paste that JSON. Just paste the JSON message here and there is a send button. Do not add any delay. I'm just sending it straight away. Yeah, click on the send button. So it says the message is sent and ready to receive. Okay, let us see if do we have any message in the queue. Okay, so there is nothing in the source queue and there is one message I can see in the destination queue. That means the message is processed and sent to the destination queue. I added the message here in the source queue and the message is now available in the destination queue. But how to validate if the Lambda is processed successfully? Let us go and see the logs of our Lambda function. So this is my Lambda function. Click on the monitor and click on this view Cloudwatch logs. It will take me to the Cloudwatch dashboard and to the log stream of this Lambda function. Yeah, this is a log stream AWS Lambda COD Lambda SQS trigger demo. Right now, click on that search log group. So we can see the message for let's say last 5 minutes because we just triggered it. Yeah, so you can see this is the message. These are the logs printed by our Lambda function, this is our console.log. This is the very first thing that we are printing it. If you see our code, so this is our console.log.event. That is what we are printing it here. This is a message received, and this is the payload. That is all we have received. Now it says start processing, and then it says message sent to SQS, and this is my destination queue, COD Lambda destination queue, and message deleted from source queue. Okay, this is the COD Lambda trigger source queue. Finish processing event, right? So I'm not doing actual processing here, but if you want, you can add a logic in between. You want to update the event, you want to do some extra processing of the event, all that you can do in between the source and destination queue. But what I am doing here is just reading it from source, logging it, and sending it to the destination queue, right? So here it says that Lambda has successfully processed the message, right? We'll do one more message. Let us go to the source queue, go to send and receive message, or let me update this time the ID is 14, and let's say I'm changing the data here, right? Okay, I've changed the payload, copy this and paste it in the box, say send. So we can go to our Cloudwatch again to validate it. Just refresh this logs. So this was our previous message of timestamp 7:13, where the payload was first name Pawan, but now we have received it, the new message at 7:21. We have received the new message 7:21 here, and then the payload is with first name Raj, and this is also successfully processed. It says message sent and message deleted from the source. It says message sent to the destination queue and message deleted from the source queue, right? Let us go back to our queues and confirm that destination queue must have two messages. Let us refresh here, right? So our destination queue is having two messages available here, right, friends? That means our demo, our setup is working fine. Our Lambda function is working fine. Our queues are working fine. The source and destination queue both are working fine. The trigger, the most important thing is the trigger is working fine. As soon as the message is available in your queue, that it will trigger a Lambda function. It will send that data, those events to Lambda, and Lambda will process it, and then it will put into a destination queue. In the same way, you may have a requirement to process certain messages, like as soon as order is placed, you want to do some certain operation like send email and so on. So it will create an email, Lambda will create an email, put that into a destination queue, and email server is reading the message from the destination queue to deliver it. This is just an example, but there are n number of possibilities and number of scenarios where you can use this kind of setup, right? So here most important thing is trigger to the Lambda, and trigger to Lambda is SQS queue. As soon as message available in a SQS queue, it triggers the Lambda, right? Now after processing it, you put in a queue or you call any other AWS service, that is up to you, right? So there is no limitation that you have to put message into a destination queue. You can take any action based on the trigger. As soon as Lambda is trigger, you can do any processing. You can call any other AWS service also. Okay, friends. Hope you like this video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, so do subscribe to my channel to grow Code One Digest family. Thank you. Friends, if you like this video, so give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for the more interesting videos. Click on the bell icon for the latest video notifications, and do not forget to share this video with all your friends and colleagues. This is very useful information for students, beginners, and software engineers. I am putting a lot of efforts in creating these contents, so please help me growing the Code One Digest family. Please subscribe to Code One Digest channel for the latest programming and technology related videos. Thank you.